Hello, and welcome to the Living My Human Design podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Hoover, and I'm so excited that you're here. I have been on a self-healing journey since my early 20s, and when I discovered human design in January of 2021, I felt like I had finally found what I had spent the last 20 years searching for. I believe that if we live as our authentic selves, having forgiveness, compassion, love, and understanding in our hearts, that ripples out and positively impacts everyone we interact with. That is how we have the biggest positive impact on the world. My purpose is to be a beacon of light in the world, attracting those who have broken down, fallen apart, and are stuck under the weight of life, and help them rise up as their true authentic selves. By sharing my human design experiment through this podcast, I hope to encourage others to begin their own healing journey by experimenting with their own human design. Continue listening and join me on this life-changing experiment of self-discovery. Hello, and welcome to today's episode. Originally, this podcast was supposed to be about profile, and I was going to be starting my experiment with profile. However, life happened, and I'm going to be going just a little bit of a different route today, partially because I haven't outlined my profile experiment and what that's going to look like, so I'm not quite ready to share that yet. However, I've had a message come to me frequently through multiple podcasts that I've listened to and some books that I've been reading that it's okay to change things up. It's okay to change and decide to do something different. It's okay to do things my way. It doesn't have to be the way that everybody else does things. And the end of January kind of got a little bit hectic for me. Our dog Bailey had 5 teeth removed, and then she ended up having a reaction to the Rimadyl, and so she was really sick for about a week, and it took her about 2 weeks to get back to her normal self. And then we also started traveling in our RV again. We spent 3 months stationary in the Phoenix, Arizona area while we spent time with family for the holidays. And so we are traveling again about every 3 weeks and exploring new areas. And that's really exciting. And I want to make sure that I'm allowing time for that as well. And then I kind of just got stuck in fear and overwhelm. There's a lot of stuff that is lighting me up right now, a lot of things that I want to learn and do and accomplish. I'm working on creating chart reports that you guys will be able to purchase from my website. I'm working on creating journal templates. I'm going through the Genius sequence with the Gene Keys. I'm in the Spiritual Investor program with the wonderful Elizabeth Ralph. I'm trying to create a better Unpack template for myself to make it easier and quicker to unpack people's charts when you schedule a one-on-one unpack with me. And then, of course, enjoying the adventure of our life. And I also want to begin teaching my husband everything about running our freight brokerage business so that I can step back and focus more energy into this podcast and this new business that I'm creating. And I ended up getting stuck in overwhelm. There was so much that I wanted to do, and I didn't know which direction to go. And so I just froze. I stopped journaling. I wasn't doing my morning meditations. I was still doing some productive things, but it was very scattered, and I didn't feel like I was really making progress in any one direction. And then, of course, I got into that comparisonitis where I started to compare myself to other people. Oh, that person, they do it so much better than me. People should just listen to that person. It's so much better. But as I sat there and thought about it, this person that I'm comparing myself to, or these people that I'm comparing myself to, they've been at it a whole lot longer than I have. And we all have to start somewhere. And it's just that remembering to take imperfect action and following my strategy and authority, and the right opportunities will present themselves at the right time. Those other people aren't me. And there are people out there who need to hear the message from me. They'll resonate with my energy more. There's plenty out there for everybody. We live in an infinite, expanding universe. And there is plenty. We're all connected. There's plenty out there for absolutely everyone. And we really need to learn, and I need to learn to start letting go of this scarcity mindset that tends to pop in occasionally. So in doing this podcast and building a coaching business based around human design, I'm stepping way outside of my comfort zone, and I'm doing things that I've not done before. I've been a businesswoman, I've ran a business, but it's in a completely different realm. It's so different. And even though I'm following my human design and I'm letting go of the old stories and conditioning, the mind still tends to freak out when I step outside of my comfort zone. It thinks that, it thinks that I'm unsafe. My mind's not familiar with where I'm going right now, and it can't see the exact steps that I need to take to get to where I want to go. And this becomes unsafe according to my mind. And that's where the fear steps in. That's where the fear kind of comes in. And it's sneaky too. Like I don't even realize that it's fear at first. I just notice that I'm like falling back into old patterns. I am overwhelmed, and so I'm not really doing anything, or I'm doing busy work that doesn't really progress me forward. It's not moving me in any one direction. It's just keeping me busy for the sake of being busy, just to be doing something. And I've been receiving a lot of messages through the podcasts that I've been listening to, and again, through some books that I've been reading, that are reminding me that it is okay to change. It is okay to switch directions. It's okay to do things different than everyone else. It's okay to change. And so what I've done is I have made a list of all the things that I want to accomplish. I prioritized it by importance, and I actually did this twice. So when I was frozen and not really, and just in that overwhelm, my journaling practice had fallen to the wayside. And so I wasn't journaling, and then I also wasn't going back and reviewing my journal. So all week last week, I got back on track with my journaling. And on Sunday, I reviewed everything that I had wrote for the week. And 2 times last week, I made this list of the things that I want to do and prioritized it by importance. And it was almost exactly the same. I had made them for different purposes, but they were basically the exact same list. So that right there tells me that this is really something that I need to be doing to prioritize what's important, what I want to accomplish, and in which order, so to speak, I want to accomplish it. But then I also need to check back in with my authority and see if it's aligned. Like, is this still lighting me up? Am I still getting a yes to move forward with this? Or is it a yes, I want to do this, but right now isn't quite the right time? And then I also want to watch for those synchronicities and pay attention to those alignment cues to make sure that I'm on the right path. And I'm a manifesting generator. So when I am in alignment, I'm going to be having feelings of satisfaction and peace. And if I am out of alignment, those cues are going to be feelings of frustration and anger. And so I'm paying attention to those, and I noticed them pop up yesterday, because the other part that I'm focusing on is moving my body more frequently and feeding myself nutritious foods. And again, sometimes that I get overwhelmed with the meal planning, the grocery shopping, the prepping, and doing all of the cooking, because I do all of that for myself and my husband. And it gets overwhelming. Like I just, sometimes by the end of the day, I've been so busy doing other things that I've kind of run out of energy. And so on Sunday, I washed, cut, and prepped all the vegetables that I had bought for the week so that they are ready for snacking. They're ready for quick meal prep. So when it comes time for dinner, I can just throw something together quickly, whatever I'm in the mood for at that moment. And I don't have to spend too much time prepping. And then it feels faster and easier than going out and picking up an unhealthy meal. And as my husband and I were walking the dogs in the evening after I had completed that, I realized how satisfying that felt. Like I was just full of like, yes, that felt good. I'm excited to have all of that prepped for the week ahead of us. The other thing that I did is I made myself a weekly schedule with a specific focus for each day. While I'm still working my day job, as I train my husband more and more to take over more of the daily duties, some days we are busy and some days we're slower. And on those slower days, I want to work on some of these other things that I want to accomplish. But I would be so overwhelmed by all the things that I could do that I would have a hard time choosing what to do. So I made myself a weekly schedule with a specific focus for each day. So like on Mondays, I would focus on the Spiritual Investor Program. On Tuesdays, I will focus on the Genius Sequence. On Wednesday, I will focus on popping into the HDX community and answering questions and, so forth and etc. There would be a plan for each thing. And also a 1 hour period every day where I can focus on entering my information into the program that I'm going to be using to generate my human design charts. So this weekly schedule has made it less daunting. Like when that free time pops up, now I know what I can potentially be doing, so I just go and do that. I don't have to try and decide from all of the different options. I don't get that sense of overwhelm and I don't freeze. So then I'm moving myself forward. I'm learning the lessons and I'm going to keep moving forward. And I'm just going to own where I'm at, Change can be difficult at times. Difficult in that our mind gets in our way because it's different and we're out of our comfort zone and it's unfamiliar. And so the fear pops in. So I'm just going to keep moving forward and remember that my way may look different than another person's way. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not on anyone's timeline. I'm here following my strategy and authority, paying attention to the synchronicities and trusting that I am exactly where I need to be right now. And also I'm going to remember that it's okay to change directions. I'm still going to go back to the Profile podcast and begin the experiment with Profile and share how that's going. But it's okay for me to pop in here today and share how I had this feeling of overwhelm and things just got a little confusing. And I'm also free to express myself and to just let my spirit fly. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'll probably only commit to recording one podcast a month right now. And if I have the energy and it feels in alignment, then I may release additional podcast episodes. But I am going to start spending more time on Instagram and Facebook and sharing my daily experiment or every couple days how the experiment is going on Instagram, because sometimes it's, I don't have enough going on in a week to record a full podcast episode and it just feels cumbersome. So catch me on Instagram. The link is in the show notes. It's at Living My Human Design. And thank you so much for checking in with this episode, and we'll be back with Profile here shortly. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end of the podcast. If you like what you've heard here today, please take a moment to leave a review. Don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified when the next episode is released. If you have any questions, please connect with me on social media. The links are down below in the show notes. Don't forget you can get your free human design chart at my website, livingmyhumandesign.com. And if you'd like to have me unpack your chart with you, you can also schedule an unpack at my website, and there are 3 options to choose from. That website address again is livingmyhumandesign.com. If you'd like to learn more about human design at your own pace, I highly recommend joining Emma Dunwoody's HDX membership. There are video modules on all parts of human design and tons of bonus materials. This membership also comes with a private Facebook community where you can ask questions and get additional support. I'm one of the guides in this community as well. The links to all of this information are down below in the show notes. Thank you again for listening. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I'll talk with you soon.